Newsboys. A legacy that spanned nearly 40 years may now be ending, not with a bang, but with a betrayal. And at the center of it all, Michael Tate and Wes Campbell, the man who built the brand, now caught in a whirlwind of scandal, denial, and finger-pointing. What happens when the Christian music industry's most iconic band implodes under the weight of decades of silence? When the founder publicly steps down, not with humility, but with a carefully scripted statement that seems more like a PR move than an act of repentance? We're diving deep into the statement from Wes Campbell, the founder of Newsboys, and how his words, intended to deflect blame, may have only confirmed what many have suspected all along. For those of you who've been following Christian music, especially from the 90s, the Newsboys are synonymous with anthems, incredible energy, and a message of faith. Active since 1985, they've been a constant presence. But right now, the band, as we know it, seems to be teetering on the brink, largely due to explosive allegations against former frontman Michael Tate and a swirling controversy about what Newsboys management knew and when. Days after reports detailing a $5 million lawsuit filed against Wes Campbell and 4 family members, alleging defamation, conspiracy, and infliction of emotional distress. Then, a Facebook group called 90s Christian Music Days posted what appeared to be a leaked letter from Wes Campbell himself, confirmed as authentic by the Roy's report, addressed to the Board of Directors of the Gospel Music Association, or GMA. In this letter, Campbell indicates he's stepping down from the board and that his brother has been placed on leave. But the most gut-wrenching detail, a shocking claim that even members of his own family were victims of this alleged ABUSA. Let's look at Wes Campbell's raw and revealing statement. A letter from Wes Campbell. Given the most recent accusations against me personally related to a supposed cover-up of allegations surrounding Michael Tate and his time as frontman for the Newsboys, I submit this letter notifying you that I am stepping down from the board so as not to become a distraction. I believe strongly in the work of the Gospel Music Association and the mission to build the CGM Museum, but I clearly cannot continue in my current role for the foreseeable future. Furthermore, as a result of the articles published this past month, my brother, Steve Campbell, has been placed on leave pending the results of an internal investigation about his knowledge of Tate's actions on the road. At the conclusion of the full investigation, I will submit a detailed report to GMA President, Jackie Patillo, who has shown great leadership in our industry. Her record of excellence with impartiality speaks for itself, and I will submit the report along with access to all staff so she can independently review our findings. I have remained largely silent these past weeks as we all learn together of the unfolding stories of reported victims sharing allegations against Michael Tate. But do not mistake that for a lack of care or concern for the alleged victims, their families, or anyone else impacted. Until we got the full scope of the several consecutive articles in conjunction with an initial investigation, I felt I could not even speak beyond our early statement of support for the alleged victims and call for any other possible victims to consider coming forward. Admittedly, we were caught somewhat flat-footed and ill-prepared as we never imagined the stories we would learn. Members of our own families have now come forward and shared that they, too, are victims. My heart is shattered at the pain that has been expressed by so many as we are learning even dating back as far as 3 decades ago. These last several weeks have been a personal time of reckoning as I came to grips with the emerging details of a growing number of disturbing stories and considered exactly how such reported behavior could have happened without a single hint or mention. I have heard from many in our industry that there is no way I couldn't have known. I have heard former colleagues make all manner of accusations, but I can with full conscience declare that my management team at Newsboys Inc. and I had absolutely no knowledge that such behavior was happening. There were whispers of rumors for the past couple of years that an exposé story was coming out about Michael, but every time such rumor was brought to my attention, the management team and I would sit down with Michael to straightforwardly ask if he knew about it, and what, if anything, he may have been hiding that someone would want to write that would be so threatening. He assured us there was nothing to the rumors, but without any details in hand, there was nothing we could even investigate. As many online have posted, throughout Michael's career there have been rumors of his sensual preference seemingly at every turn, but that is far from the depths of what has been reported. These topics should not be conflated. The first of any sensuality rumors I've heard date back to when Michael was even still in DC talk. The very first I heard was a rude, flippant comment of assumption made based on his wardrobe choices. And that is the kind of rumors we have referenced knowing over the years. Gossip, typically rooted in what seemed a superficial basis of reason, nothing more. Michael even raised and addressed the rumors early on in our vetting process, back when he agreed to front the band in 2009. It was an open and transparent conversation, but there was no such story or claims of offense to reference or discuss. Michael shared with us as recent as last year the distressing toll that the ongoing rumors had taken on him and his health, and asked the team to see if they can help get to the bottom of what he referenced as hurtful lies. Many have said at least the band should have known even if management did not, but the rest of this band are all married family men with supplemental careers who would prefer to fly home on days off instead of staying on the road between dates to hang out. Over the past many years, this band has settled into their roles in their own families that would preclude them from many things being conjectured online, which is why they were so openly shocked upon reading the very first story. Here is what we did know and when we knew it. Michael reached out to me on December 30th, 2024 to arrange a meeting. I informed him that I was out of town for the holidays until January 5th. He then expressed concern about the gravity of what he needed to share with me, stating, "Wes, I can't live a lie for another day. I need to get clean. This is going to be heavy." Our team met with Michael on January 6th, and I approached the conversation with a mindset to listen rather than judge. It was during this meeting that he revealed some of his struggles. He shared that he was living a double life, abusing cocaine, and as a result, when under the influence, as he put it, engaged in sensual-type activity with both men and women. He also opened up and shared with us the elaborate ways in which he had managed to keep the drug use hidden from the band. At no point in this meeting did he indicate or confess to anything that even hinted at what would ultimately be reported or alleged. But he did then resign from the band, requesting assistance in recovery from the substance abuse. Everyone agreed that Tate stepping down to seek help was a positive step forward, even despite the difficulty of making this decision with our spring tour just a few days away. In the days that followed, Michael turned to his separate personal management and spiritual counsel for closer assistance. These were individuals who have walked closely with Michael for over 30 years. Given what was shared and at the recommendation of our own spiritual and legal counsel, it was decided that Tate's privacy, firstly as an independently contracted individual and secondly as a friend, should be respected at that point in time. We chose not to tell the world at that time about his substance abuse issue. It seemed his story to tell given the steps in place. I'll say it again, we had no idea the fullness of his actions behind closed doors, or that he may have been a possible risk to anyone's safety, and so we proceeded with that approach while Michael sought treatment. Had we known the details as we now know, the response absolutely would have been different. I have been asked many times in recent weeks about accountability in this industry, who we lean on, what checkpoints are in place, what the standards are. For Newsboys, each band member has personal accountability procedures in place. When Michael joined our team 15 years ago, he came to us with an established accountability infrastructure from his DC Talk days. Those relationships have stuck with him this entire time, and as such, his personal manager, road pastor, and closest friends took over in rallying behind him to support him as needed while under treatment. The journey ahead will be challenging for everyone, especially the reported and any possible unknown victims. There is clearly much work to be done within the Newsboys organization, as we must have guardrails in place along with a deep understanding amongst all staff that they are safe to report a problem or offense without any fear, but also within the CCM music industry as a whole, there is work for all of us to do. I've wondered why the rumor mill was just that for so many years, full of gossip and rumor instead of Christ-like personal confrontation. How many lives could have been saved from harm if people felt comfortable to report, and those who knew something had actually said something? I intend to make strides in our organization, and can only hope this begins a larger conversation of healing and restoration, along with opportunities for mentorship for up-and-coming talented musicians and industry professionals who support the work of those musicians. Thank you for allowing me to serve on the board, and I look forward to submitting the findings of the internal investigation once it is complete. I absolutely believe it will exonerate the existing members of the Newsboys as well as our management team from being aware of or party to covering up any of the reported allegations. With respect, Wes Campbell. Wes opens his letter to the Gospel Music Association with the classic playbook, "I'm stepping down, but not because I did anything wrong." He says, "I don't want to be a distraction." But make no mistake, this statement is full of distractions. He shifts the blame. He presents himself as a victim. He claims he was flat-footed and ill-prepared for what came out. But this isn't just someone caught off guard. This is someone running damage control. Let's be real. You don't resign from a major industry board if the problem was just gossip. You do it when the scandal is radioactive and you're at the epicenter. In the most jaw-dropping section of his letter, Wes reveals that members of his own family have now come forward as alleged victims of Tate. Let that sink in. Yet, somehow, he still insists he had no idea. We had absolutely no knowledge that such behavior was happening. Seriously, we're now to believe that for 15 years, no one in the Newsboys organization noticed anything? No red flags? No whistleblowers? Even when Wes himself admits there were whispers, rumors, and expose warnings going back years? Wes repeatedly doubles down that Tate fooled everyone, that the team asked Michael directly about the rumors, and he denied everything. But here's the problem. When you're running a Christian brand emphasis on Christian, you don't get to just take someone's word for it, especially when millions of fans trust you to lead with integrity. That's not accountability. That's willful ignorance. The Newsboys were once the crown jewel of Christian rock. From their 1985 beginnings to Tate's takeover in 2009, they were a beacon for youth groups and festivals around the world. But now, the legacy is tainted, maybe beyond repair. Wes Campbell's letter wasn't a confession. It wasn't a plea for forgiveness. It was damage control dressed in church clothes. And for many fans, it reads like the final chapter. A band that told millions to shine is now fading into scandalous shadow. Our thoughts are with the alleged victims and their families as they navigate this incredibly painful time. We will continue to follow this story closely and bring you updates as they unfold. What do you think? Did Wes Campbell's letter feel like a genuine attempt at transparency or a desperate PR spin? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe for more deep dives into stories the mainstream Christian media won't touch. And remember, truth matters, even when it's inconvenient.